Hello everybody, my name is KingStix. I'm really excited to show you this jungle Mundo guide. He's by far the strongest carry jungler right now. He's the only one who can do the kind of damage he does and have the kind of carry potential in the mid game that he does have. His early game is a little bit messy, so I'm going to try to guide you guys through this the best I can. It is essential that you're taking the correct runes on Mundo Jungle, otherwise you're not going to be able to get past yourself in the early game. You're going to want to take Fleet Footwork for the Sustain, Triumphant, Tenacity, and 𝐒𝐻𝐿. You can also take Last Stand, but I personally prefer 𝐒𝐻𝐿. For your secondary runes, I recommend going for the free boots. This will allow you to rush into your Cinderhulk faster, and then I don't know what the fuck that's called actually. You're also going to want to take Approach Velocity. This will make you really nasty in ganks and super boost you in the mid and late game in team fighting. Without it, you don't have a great way of sticking onto the enemies and moving around in a team fight. For your initial clear on Mundo Jungle, you're always going to want to start on your red buff for the massive health regen that it gives and its damage in clearing. You're then going to want to move on to your golems and raptors. The only exception to this is if you believe the enemy jungler will invade you on your first clear, in which case you're going to start on your red, do your raptors into golems, then recall and go into your blue side jungle. Assuming that's not a thing though, like we said, red into golems into raptors, and then we're going to clear out the rest of our jungle. Once we finish our full clear, it should be approximately 3 minutes 12 seconds to 3 minutes 18 seconds, and then at that point we will be taking the closest scuttle crab and then looking to take the enemy's raptors or golems, assuming they're still up. After doing so, we will recall and restart our clear. We are not looking for ganks during this time period 9 out of 10 times because we will be very low on health and it will not be worth the risk of dying just to the laner or if the enemy jungler shows up. The only time we will do so is if the enemy laner is lower on health than we are and we believe we can kill them because they're shoved up. You're going to want to start E on Mundo. It gives you the most damage. It gives you a lot more damage than Cleaver. And then you're going to take Flames at level 2. It's going to really help you to blow through your golems and raptor camp. At level 3, we will be taking our Cleaver and we'll be maxing our E first, Cleaver second, Flames last, and of course taking points on our ultimate whenever we can. Like we talked about, Mundo gets very low in his initial clear, so you need to be wary of who the enemy jungler is and where they're starting, because if they do invade you, you're going to need to be able to get out since you're going to be so low on health. We're not looking for ganks, and we're not looking to do anything fancy here in the early game. We're just trying to get our camps in a very fast manner to give ourselves a consistent lead over the enemy jungler and to allow ourselves to scale into the mid game where Mundo becomes a powerhouse carry. We're at the end of our first full clear before we've recalled, and we want to take Scuttle Crab. Keep an eye out for the enemy jungler because you're not really looking for a fight here. You're just looking to farm up on XP and gold. Most likely, if this isn't taken, the enemy jungler will be on the opposite side of the map because they will have started on their red buff with their bot lane. Here, my 𝐈𝐊𝐿 was asking for a gank. I'm pretty much just like, no way, you're almost dead, and the enemy mid laner is full HP, and I was really low myself. So instead, I'm going to go and take Nunu's golem. Since Nunu typically doesn't take them, that's why I went for them. 90% of the time, Nunu will go red buff into Raptor. So here, I'm getting myself a massive XP boost, and I didn't know if I was going to get collapsed on or anything, so I just let myself die, and it was pretty much just as fast as recalling anyways. In an ideal situation, you recall because it's slightly faster, but if you do die this way, as long as you're not giving gold to the enemy team, it's totally okay. After you've bought in your items on your first back, normally you want to go to your golems, raptors, and then continue jungling unless there's an easy gank. In this case, there's an easy gank mid, or he's been pushed up for a while, and I just saw her blow both summoners, so I'm going to run past my golems and raptors, totally okay, and I'm going to look for an easy kill. I flash out of the bush and then Cleaver, that way she doesn't have time to react to dodge it. I red smite her and then smack her with my E. Mundo has really high damage. I drag the wave back because I still want 𝐈𝐊𝐿 to get some. I am going to thin it out a little bit as a tiny tax. Also, if I left it too large, it would have mowed through his wave and crashed into the turret too quickly. So I wanted to try to kill a few before I left. This helps to keep your solo queue teammates in a good state of mind. If I were to have just wiped the full wave, or if I just let it crash into his turret, it would have been pretty tilting for the both of us. Now that I handled that situation, I can freely go take my golems and move on to my raptors. Notice how I left a pink ward back where I ganked Orianna. When I first laid it as I came in for the gank, it wasn't warded. So now I can easily set up a re-gank after I finish farming these camps and she reappears in lane. Assuming she walks back up, I can just come up behind her once again. And if she does ward the bush, then it will entice her to go break my pink ward. So either way, this should be an easy gank. So I'm keeping a close eye on the minimap, seeing how far she pushes up. I'm now level 6. She's shoved all the way up. You can use your ultimate from a distance since it lasts so long on Mundo. I wanted to heal, and plus it's a really good speed up, so it gets me there. That's the main way you're going to be using your ult as Mundo. I don't recommend just using it to stay healthy in the jungle. That's just throwing away a lot of gank opportunities. After I have the gank, I have mid prio, and I'm also decently fed, so I feel safe to invade the Nunu. Bear in mind, he started on his red, then did his Raptor, so his Raptor should be up around this time, so there's a really good chance he's either in here or his Raptors are up and I can take them. And Nuno actually is here, so I'm gonna run up behind him, hit him with my E. I don't throw out a cleaver yet because the creeps were kind of in the way, and he barely gets away. If I got off one more E, he probably would have died because of my red smite. Lulu comes up behind me and kills me, but don't worry, we're about to jump into the mid game. Leaving base, I have Cinder Hulk, and I don't bother to do any jungle camps because once again, Orianna is shoved up. Her flash should still be down from her Yasuo flash, since they flashed at the same time, and Yasuo's is still on cooldown, so I just come up behind her, cleaver her, and do my best to stay on top of her. She really had no way of getting away. If she tried to run in a straight line, the fastest route possible, I would just slam her with even more cleavers. I run into Nunu, I Q, auto, E, and you gotta move in between each auto on Mundo, and then I smack him with the cleaver in the N, since that obviously has more range than my autos. While you are in fights on Mundo, you want to leave your W on for as long as possible. It gives you a massive 30% tenacity, so if they try to slow you or CC you, it won't really matter. It also gives you a lot of extra damage. It doesn't really matter that it's ticking away slightly at your health. The damage and the tenacity make it easily worth it. Now that Nunu's dead, I can move on to his golems and look for a gank bot lane. My ultimate is up, so I use it to close the distance, land my cleaver, and start pounding them with my E, with my W on, of course. I took several turret shots and I'm back up to full HP, even though I already used about a quarter of my ultimate just to get there with the speed up to run past the ward. If your ultimate is down and if there's no easy ganks, it's perfectly okay to power clear on Mundo. He does it super fast, and then you can move into the enemy's jungle or maybe pick up a gank along the way. In this case, there's nothing for me to really touch. I already took Nunu's golems, so I don't really want to go back into his jungle just for Raptors when my full jungle is up. I'd rather just blow through this quickly so I can start putting out some more pressure. After I finish my clear, I'm going to move into Nunu's jungle. Once you're fed on Mundo or against weaker 1v1 junglers in general, you can just bop them right in the head. There's no counterplay. You can start the camp out with your Q, turn on your W, and then just smash it to death with your autos and E. Yasuo is getting chased right now. I'm not in too much of a hurry. I want to finish the wolf camp, and then I'll close the distance with my ultimate. Orianna sees me and starts to run. I'm so damn fast though, I'll just run her down, hit her with a cleaver, and flash past the Nunu snowball. Now I'm going to stay on top of her with my auto attacks and my E. I throw my cleaver on her point blank once I slow her with my red buff auto, and then I just beat her to death. It's really that simple. I take several turret shots, and I could have taken probably 4 or 5 more. This next part is something that really makes Mundo stand out from other tank junglers, is his turret taking power. He has so much raw AD. We're not talking on hit damage, we're talking raw attack damage. Right now at level 9 with my E max, I have 240 attack damage. That is insane. I'm 1v1ing this turret. I've already taken 3 plates, and I'm chewing right through the rest. Bear in mind, as you chew through the plates, it gets even more armor, but it doesn't matter because I have that much AD. After we took Orianna's turret, she's understandably upset, and she's moving kind of weird. She looks like she almost wants to follow me. As I move towards Scuttlecraft, she disappears, so I kind of have a feeling she's here, and sure enough, I see her. I'm not that scared though, because I do have my red smite, and I'm also 3 levels up on her, so I just eat some fruits real quick. I red smite her. I do miss my first cleaver. It was really bad. So right now I'm just baiting her out, trying to let Yas get closer in on her and let Pyke get closer. I keep smacking her with cleavers as I run away. I come back in here for a moment, land another cleaver, staying on the outside, and my ultimate's about to come back up, so we can easily take Dragon here, and I'll be full HP again, so I can then move into Nunu's jungle, wipe that out again if I so choose. I'm so ahead right now, even though I am sitting on 4k gold. I have more items than the enemies have for the most part, so there's not a real pressing reason for me to back, since I can fight them at this point anyways. I'm keeping a close eye on the laners as I take this pink ward and take the red buff. I'm actually hoping Lulu is foolish enough to come fight me, and it looks like she is. She might not realize my power, so I wait here in the bush so she comes up. I'll surprise her, hit with a cleaver, and one-shot her. but she actually doesn't show up, so she's not quite as dumb as I thought she was. She's still not showing up, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to their golems. I'm pretty much full HP and I'm really damn strong. There is a ward in the bush. I can't do a whole lot since they are under turret. If I had some armor items right now, like a tabbies and a deadman's, I'd just straight up dive them, especially with 𝐒𝐿𝐴 here, but it's a little bit more difficult than that. 𝐈𝐊𝐿 doesn't run a very good path. I click off some damage there, but once again, if I had armor or my ult, we would just easily dive that. Speaking of armor, I now have it. I highly recommend second item Deadman's on Mundo for the chase down, and it's also just insane in general on him. You don't really need the Warmogs because you heal so fast anyways, especially with your ultimate. It's a little bit overkill, and having the Deadman's helps you to dive turrets a lot better and things like that. For my boots, I did go for boots of swiftness. You don't really want to go for Merc Treads on Mundo. You get massive diminishing returns on tenacity with Mundo since we're already taking it in our runes, and Mundo's W already gives 30%. We'll have roughly 50% tenacity with those combined, so if we got the boots, we'd only have 60% instead of 50%. I know that's weird, it doesn't add perfectly, but that's the way tenacity builds, so you don't really want to build any tenacity boots because that 30% from the tenacity boots is really only going to be 10%. It's better to go for Swifties. That helps you to get around the map and also helps you to do pretty much everything else. I cleared the blue side of my jungle, and I'm immediately going into Nunu's blue side since it came up with his blue buff. Riven is coming down to fight me. I saw her leave the top lane. I don't care at all. I'll just fight both of them. I leave my W on. Their CC does nothing. I beat her to death with my massive 220 attack damage at full HP. I ultimate to stay faster, walk in front of Nunu constantly. As you saw, I blocked him like 4 times. His character tried to walk around me. It's better against champions who have massive hitboxes like Nunu, because like you saw, he just couldn't get around me and I could just stand there and auto him. At this point, I can clear out his jungle, take Herald, and start mashing turrets. This is where Mundo shines the brightest, is around the 10-minute mark to the 25-minute mark. Once 80 carries have 3 or more items, they'll shred through you. So in the true late game, Mundo isn't that great. You're mainly playing for your mid game to early late game power spike. In higher elo, I would have gone for the Herald instead since this is only gold. I'm looking for kills and I'm looking for turrets, and I know if I shove up a wave, someone's gonna foolishly come up, and I'm moving so fast right now with my Deadmans and Swifties that I'll just beat them to death with my meaty pink hands, just like Thanos. So now that Orianna is foolishly trying to defend her, I walk up, cleaver, auto her with my E. I try to stay on her. I get minion blocked a little bit. It doesn't really matter though. I could have tanked probably 6 or 7 more turret shots before it got close. So I kill her. I can move into Nunu's jungle now. I'm so fast that even if their whole team rotates, I can just run away. It doesn't really matter. If you remember that situation from earlier when I wanted to dive Lulu and Xayah, but I had no ultimate and no armor, well, things are different now because I have armor and my ultimate is about to be up, and you'll see what that looks like because Mundo has insane attack damage with his E, and he's just so overwhelming to play against because you can't match his damage and you can't match his tankiness in the mid game. So here I'm gonna just run underneath the turret, hope my team follows me up, do insane damage, and they have no way to kill me. Now that my team has engaged with me, I have no issues with just tanking turret, and then I do flash out because I would have ended up dying. It's okay though, sacrificing the 𝐒𝐿𝐴. Team fights on Mundo are generally you tanking while your team follows you up. Unless the enemy has a really strong front line that's ahead, you're not going to really be doing much peeling since you can pretty much perma-tank once you have a few items like you see here. You also do so much damage that you can virtually one-shot squishies. You just need 1 or 2 seconds to auto them down. And that is how you carry with Mundo Jungle in 1v9 your games. If you guys enjoyed this Mundo Jungle guide, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.